You don't know my backstory. The rapes, the molestations, and domestic abuse. You barely even know my name. I'm Hey Pretty Eyes to you. Yes, you set your tongue ablaze with your lies, rumors, and accusations like flames. With things like, she'll never amount to anything. She only thinks of herself. I know her from back in the day. You will never understand my struggle, how I climbed out of the pit that was designed to destroy me, how I survived what I considered the jungles, nor the beauty behind the pain, or the gurgling screams for relief. Healing took root, but you see, the scars still remained. Endless nights in a fetal position, cradled by the shame, I conquered and defeated insanity that attempted to hold me captive in their chains. As tears flowed like a broken pipe, no love, only broken promises and games. I wore the garments of my past traumas like a ballroom gown, arrayed in my denial, until one day, my purpose shook me like an earthquake and said, your story is not over. Intoxicated clearly defines my present state of being. I drank you without limitations or restraint. I'm inebriated. I knew you could change my present situation and remove the hate. I allowed myself to become naked and exposed. Transparency was the key that unlocked the doors to my heart, granting you access to a place within me that was once bitter and cold. I found liberation in you. You gave me the courage, so I began to spread my wings and soar. Your words were like medicine, your touch therapeutic, and your embrace a place of refuge. I once thought love was my enemy, then came you. No dream is too big, no vision too small. They're both attainable if you just believe. Step out on faith. Take courage. Launch out into the deep. Your purpose and your destiny are waiting for you to take the first step. Just leap.
Never as a child, always as a daughter. My gender and position, female, firstborn, oft repeated and more secure than any other identity allowed. Daughter of, granddaughter of, great-granddaughter of a long line of women who each had expectations, generational assumptions, blind spots, and blithe rationales, cycles of their own that all became mine. I find myself 10 years old, unable to read, writing my own language, making my own letters, misunderstood by myself, caught in a house of mirrors, quicksilver poured by the women who came before me. I am branded beneath the skin by my family tree, blue veins like filaments rising from the tap roots that tie me to the center of every woman born of these boughs. Internal roots gnarled and entwined, upward, downward, inside out, until I find myself hanging. Maturity makes of us all master arborists, and this is only the first stage. What a purposeful choice, deliberate and weighed, clinical and measured. The science of fertility roaring around me while my heart pounded with portent. I was afraid to have a son. What do I know of men? I was afraid to have a daughter. How can I protect her? I grew both, and I was no longer afraid. Instead, I was fierce. I tell my children, who are no longer children, who are their own, who have always been, that respect is earned, never deserved, that I am not the perfect mother, but I am perfectly not my own mother. I tell my children, a grown man, a grown woman, both braver than I ever was, that they will question me and the choices I make and the actions I take, and they will become perfectly not me. That's what evolution is. That's my gift to them. I sever the noose and fall free. And this is only the fourth stage.
I want to know your routine and know if you ever let down the aloofness that is you. You are fun and funny, although I must say not everyone appreciates your humor. I love that you've been places, seen and done things you can tell me about that I'll never see or do. Tell me, do you see the world differently with blue eyes? It seems that everyone who ever has had a love end waits. What are we waiting for? The love doesn't come back, the hurting doesn't stop, and I can still see your face when I close my eyes. I wish I were a great poet, so I could say all the things I'm feeling. You would never know what I was feeling at all. Instead, I say I love you. Has the time come when, once again, I'm much too vulnerable? The phone doesn't ring as you said it would, and I sit here waiting, writing words on a page while trying to make some sense out of insane feelings.
I hurt you, I know. But damn, the amount of times I've been led down the wrong road with promises that dripped with empty sincerity, words that screamed their validity from lips that were poison, are more than I can count. My heart is a bit jaded, and I believed no one could love me because I couldn't love myself. Then there you were, saying things that I wanted to believe, should have believed, but didn't trust my instincts. How could I? I hurt you. And if you don't run, I can promise the next time I fall, I'll fall in love with you. It'll be okay, you told me, with your voice cracking. Sympathy wasn't your strong suit, but you were trying. Even with tears pooling in eyes that were the brightest blue, so deep that the ocean couldn't compare in all her glory. I longed to bury my face in your neck, breathe in the scent of you, have you hug me tightly. But I knew you wouldn't. You patted my shoulder and pecked me on the head. It wasn't your strong suit, I reminded myself as I fell apart inside, yet kept my face unreadable. "It'll be okay," you repeated, and I crumbled, but was too afraid to let you see. So I nodded, but you knew. You always do, even when I hide. It has to be real then, right? It has to be good. I remained silent, swallowed my sorrow, and walked into the night alone. If no one could see me, I could cry. Only the moon and the stars would bear witness to the weakness I couldn't run from any longer. Except, as I sank to the ground, there you were, your hand on my back, pulling me close. "It'll be okay if you let go," you told me. "My shoulders can handle it." And I knew. It was real. It was good. Thick and heavy, the dense fog floats, barely kissing the ground, the sound muted, giving the illusion of isolation. But there you are, standing with me in the night-chilled air, your fingers intertwined with mine, and I'm warm, despite the goosebumps that pebble my skin. Because there you are, solid, real, and present, as you promised you would be. And I've learned to not doubt your word, that you aren't like the others. Perhaps the goosebumps have nothing to do with the cold fog, and everything to do with you.
My heart was heavy as our shoes slipped down fist-sized rocks toward the shoreline, pale gold, not ruby, despite its name. The heaviness had come in the spring, carried on the wind, through airports and handshakes. It was an uncertainty I had shouldered, but not yet learned to live with. Peace and grace were traded for strength and survival. Our children, no longer children, played on a log, the tide gentle at their bare feet, their voices joyful, carrying on the wind. My mind was still trying to understand an incomprehensible truth, short-circuiting on memories I didn't dare speak. Mica glittered across the sand, carried on the wind, like that first time in Ensenada. But I'm no longer a child, and my grandmother is dead, and I'm living through a global pandemic. Our masks are tucked away in pockets and pouches, but it's impossible, even on our beach, to forget. The wind shifts, and the sky darkens as I pull you close and think to myself, smiling for maybe the first time that day, how glad I am I married a science fiction writer. Dark plumes of smoke, wildfire season, they call it now, drift up the coast from Oregon. We smile and laugh it off, even as the air cools and the sun disappears behind a crimson sky. Standing in our apocalyptic playground, I can't help but think the earth is on fire, and we're watching it burn.
My Lola Flower, you believe in me, stuck by me, and have helped me become the better woman through your love, support, and kindness. Thank you for being my wife and loving me. Thank you for always staying grounded in every circumstances. And thank you for reminding me of what truly is important. Thank you for always being sincere, genuine, and authentic in everything you do. My vows. From the moment that I saw you, I knew that you were meant to be. I used to worry about everything. I worried what would happen if I let myself feel again. I thought I didn't deserve to. Then, without really knowing, I changed. I wasn't really worried if I lived. I was worried about if I didn't, and that I would miss, and what would I miss. I was worried about not remembering all the moments we had made. You taught me how to open up and love again. You taught me that you don't have to climb a mountain to stand on top of the world. Even the ugliest places can be beautiful as long as you take the time to look at them. You showed me that it's okay to get lost as long as you find your way back. But with learning all of that, I miss seeing something that's most important. Seeing you, my Lola flower. I almost overlooked you. You became my best friend. You, my lover, my strength. You were my teacher, and you was teaching me all along how to move forward and live. You taught me that there was beauty and hope in unexpected places. There's a bright place, even in the dark times. You woke me up and you woke my heart up when I wasn't looking. Now it seems to shine bright. And this is all because of you and the love you showed me that I never knew existed. I choose you to be my wife because I'm comfortable enough to show you my flaws. I'm motivated to fix them and inspired enough to create a love that is flawless. I vow I will show you a love of a lifetime and moments so true as God holds us together and as we put Him first. He will guide us through good and bad times. As I stand beside you, I vow to love you until my very last breath. And even then, I will love you from beyond. I give you my heart to hold forever and more. Lola Flower, today I give you me, and I'm truly yours for the taking if you would have me for good or bad.
Is it a formula then, or an inspiration? Am I constructed according to a blueprint design? Or does some organic, elemental efflorescence, driven by its own force, emerge within me? So that the raw conception suddenly stands forth, declares itself in bold identity, one that is neither affectation nor pretense, but rather somehow a revelation of something, essentially me, and thus impervious to critique. The alternative, of course, is always equally available: to set aside all pretense or artistry, to let bone and flesh simply stand forth, unadorned and naked, to the blank stare that greets it. Tell me then, am I beautiful? Or perhaps to ask so openly begs the question, because beauty lies in others' uses, not our own. We already exist in a context of prior meanings. Who am I to you? Who do you need me to be? Perhaps this is why the photographer gets all the credit. The nameless model is only raw material, frozen in time. What she did before or after is equally irrelevant. That is deemed natural, which does not offend us. Because we know the name and antecedents of the one standing framed before us. Preconceptions are always determinative. Nothing exists in itself immune from prejudgment. Identity means a correspondence that is always secondary and derivative to something that exists outside, something ordered and ordained to what is no part of us, but rather summons us forth on demand to fulfill ulterior uses. So do not ask me if I am beautiful, because I ceased to be an I in the moment of consent, when I submitted to being observed. Only the invisible truly exists.
You are not Superwoman. You are you. It's okay to feel heartbroken, sad, even angry as hell. But the anger is eating you up inside. The fake smile plastered on your face is fading. Soon, you will have to open your heart and let the sun back in. So many lies were told. Forgive to heal you, not for anyone else. You are you, and you are a strong swimmer. End of love. End of hope. End of memories so bittersweet. End of lies. End of dreams. End of drowning in darkness. End of tears. End of him. Beginning of you. Don't cry. Not one more stupid tear. Am I to comfort you? I will, with some lies. Velvety smooth, like the lies you told me. Don't cry. Not one more stupid tear. For it's me who should be crying. My life has crumbled with your toxic lies. Don't cry. Not one more stupid tear. Go to her. Maybe she will once again let you in, for this door has closed.
Mr. Hyde. Mr. Hyde came out to play today. A double-edged sword, making sure both heart and soul were damaged, left bleeding. Mr. Hyde came out to play today. His hands holding her down, squeezing her throat tighter and tighter. Her tears wouldn't stop him. Her cries went unheard as he took what he wanted. Mr. Hyde came out to play today. She floated above her body, looking at the twisted scene below. How did she end up here? How did she come to think that this was the way life was supposed to be? That it was okay to be hurt by his hands and his voice? That it was okay for him to take what he wanted? She was a person, too. Mr. Hyde came out to play today. Some call it spirits. Some call it booze. Some call it alcohol. She calls it Mr. Hyde. Safe, a powerful word. Starts young. As a child, the adults were supposed to keep you safe from things that would hurt you. But what happens when you are the one keeping yourself safe? In school, the teachers are supposed to keep you safe, to listen beyond the normal chatter, and to find the quiet ones who are lost. But what happens when you are the one screaming for help and no one hears you? Marriage. He's supposed to cherish you and keep you safe from bad people and a harsh life. But what happens when he's the one hurting you and making life hard, taking every bit of life that you have slowly away from you? Safe, a word that has no meaning to me.
Fighting a battle, single-handed, against one more powerful than I, the one who has caused pain and grief in the lives of those dearest to me. The harsh words he says go into my heart like a knife. The wounds never heal before the next attack. I feel the world turn against me, my hopes, dreams, and future falling in crumbles around me. I stand there, grief-stricken, as tears flow from my eyes. Slowly, I stand tall, lift my head, and begin to piece the crumbles together. I am not yours, not lost in you. I stand on my own 2 feet. Just because I cared for you does not make me your personal property. I am not lost in your thoughts. I am not lost in your kind ways, because I know that it's all just a game. To you, I am not a person, but a pawn in your world to control and dominate. Snow, newly fallen, made a fantasy of the alleys and streets, a cold, white lie. The weeds and trees buried deep beneath the white world, hidden from all that pass. The snow is covering a tiny bud trying to grow, denying its presence to the world. The chill hangs in the air like a thick fog, despite the fact that it is March. Tiny snowflakes begin to fall from the sky, falling, falling. She walked along the beach, a gray figure against a gray expanse of gray water, and no one knew her name. She always glanced behind her as if she expected someone or something to be there. Rain or shine, snow or sleet, you can see her small figure pacing by the water's edge. Someday, maybe she will find what her soul is seeking.